The Vice President of the world's most powerful organization is back in what is essentially his prequel story to his role in the Street Fighter 3 series. What sort of things does Urien get up to during these events, and is it anything worthy of note? Street Fighter V's lackluster storyline has shortchanged a lot of characters in terms of consistency, continuity, and general world-built logic. It's been tough for some of these characters to get through it without having pieces of themselves broken in the process. So does Urien make it out the other side unscathed, or does he end up suffering like the rest of them? In my original review of Urien, I made a passing joke about how I used to mispronounce his name as Urien. I guess you could say I was taking the piss, innit? Funny guy. Waste man. But here's something else that's funny. Although I mocked Urien's name, it turns out the way in which I thought his name was meant to be pronounced was also incorrect. Throughout my first video on Urien, I kept calling him Urien. Urien. Oh boy, Urien. So yeah, my bad. Sorry about that. The Illuminati can stop spying on my shit now, thank you very much. Urien is back in Street Fighter 5, and what a tremendously strong return this is. I can say hand on heart that Urien is definitely one of the characters to make the best transitions over to this new game. His design is as faithful as ever, and even when it does do something new, it doesn't feel out of character for him. As default, he now wears a sharp pinstripe suit with an open button pop collar shirt. Capcom kept his love for designer outfits intact, and when they wanted to push the boundaries, they merely threw in accessories without having to drastically change what Urien normally wears. They elaborated on Urien's vanity brilliantly by doing something as simple as exploring what's in his wardrobe. His loincloth outfit is even included as an Easter egg, so the option to play as the Olympian-styled Urien is also there for those who want it. Urien's jump from 2D to 3D was glorious. He looks amazing, and his character model is easily one of the tidiest ones this game has to offer. It looks solid and it looks faithful. His facial structure, the hair and the Emperor style sideburns, the way he stands, the way he walks, his fighting stance, all of it is refined to a T. Even his English voice was delivered with such authentic enthusiasm.
Commoner, get that filthy hand off me before I make you regret it!
When I first saw the art and the early screenshots prior to his release, part of me worried it would have been too good to be true. Maybe they were going to screw up the presentation somewhere, but they didn't. They nailed it. People tend to give English voice actors a hard time, and yeah, while there are a few dud ones here and there in Street Fighter 5, Urien's voice is precise and goes full force in delivering his elitist personality. Since Street Fighter 5 takes place earlier on in his storyline, Urien is still in his Vice President role. He seems comfortable at this point, watching various things unfold around him and slowly putting plans into motion. His on-screen time is extremely short though, blink and you'll miss him, but oddly, this is what I would expect from the Vice President of a secret organisation known for pulling strings within the shadows of society. Urien is a schemer and the type to always work behind the scenes, so in a strange way, him not having much screen time kinda fits in with what the character is about. During the moments that he is present in the story, he is a key character in a few crucial plot points. Firstly, he donates the body of 11 to Colleen so she could resurrect Charlie with it, and I love this development. It builds upon the lore behind the character 12 and what he was crafted from, while also giving us a fairly acceptable reason as to how Charlie is alive again. Furthermore, this also takes into account that Urien is a scientific genius because his research into human gene reconstruction theory is being brought to the forefront of the story. The fact that Urien was responsible for overseeing the project only emphasizes the importance of his role. He also takes some time in the story to do some research work of his own. Urien visits an abandoned SIN base to find out what became of M. Bison's spare vessels, and it's during this moment he learns that Ed, one of the more successful bodies, was taken from the base during SIN's downfall in Street Fighter 4. He is then jumped by Sea Viper, so he throws a couple of Aegis reflectors in her face. Urien decides it would be in his best interests to buy out someone from Shadaloo and have them leak information to him regarding their current plans. This Shadaloo agent happened to be Balrog, a dude who's only ever in it for the money, and Urien has plenty of money so they reach the deal. They also butted heads for a second so Urien can make an example out of him. Urien sees Ed up close and remarks at how the young boy is able to utilize Bison's psycho power so easily at such a young age, but doesn't see him as a potential threat just yet. With Balrog in Urien's pocket, the Tyrant has access to all of Shadaloo's plans, and from that he can gauge which direction to take his own plans in. That's about as far as Urien's role goes within the story of Street Fighter V, but you know what? I'm fine with this. In fact, I'm more than fine with this. I am happy with this. These are good actions from Urien. At this point in the story, he's not meant to be doing too much in the spotlight anyway, and everything he has done behind the scenes is leading neatly into the events of Street Fighter 3. It's almost a perfect wrap up. I'm genuinely impressed with Urien's role in this game. While some other characters didn't make it out of the plot hole ridden minefield that is the Street Fighter V storyline, Urien practically moonwalked through it without gaining a scratch. Chances are, if Urien was one of your favourite characters already, then he should still be so now. Out of all the characters to make the jump to Street Fighter V, Urien seems to be the one that Capcom pulled out all the stops for and got incredibly on point. His design elaborates on his personality without ruining what had been established before. His personality is explored further within his small but crucial roles in the story and doesn't change the type of person Urien had been so far in the series. Truth be told, I never really used to care for Urien. Back in the day, I always brushed him off in favour of his more charismatic brother. I didn't give Urien a proper chance until I reviewed him the first time on Who Dat. Now, with Urien's inclusion in Street Fighter V being as magnificent as it is, I'm finding myself liking this guy a whole lot more than I thought I would. I'm actually surprised at how much he's won me over. You know what? Fuck it. Consider me convinced. Urien gets my Valhalla emblem. He's become one of my favourite antagonists this series has to offer, and he has all the potential in the world to go much more further than this. You done good with this one, Capcom. More of this, please.